Welcome to Wasatch Weekends. I'm your host, Ben Roof. We've got a great show in store for you today, where we'll be talking with Sophie Kohler of Park City Gardens about their plein air painting event that is happening today. And then we will talk to Nuzzles Co about their adoptable animal of the week. And then we'll hang out with Tracy Miller as she makes some delicious tortilla soup. But first, let's go check out that new Sun and Ski location in Murray to kick off the show. Take it away.
It is a wonderful day here in Murray, Utah. We are at the 33rd brand new location of Sun and Ski Sports, 6262 State Street, across from the Fashion Place Mall. I'm here with the Assistant General Manager, Kendall. Kendall, how are you?
Good, how are you?
So this store is incredible. You've got so much here. So tell us a little bit about it and what you're offering.
So we have anywhere from swim in summer to winter ski, apparel and hard goods for kids, women, men, really anybody. We have a wide variety of hard goods, any gear that you would need, a ton of footwear for everyone. So that's just kind of the basics of what we have. We also have some bikes, we have wakeboards, wake surfs, everything that you could need for a summer adventure.
It sounds like if you don't know what you're going to do this summer, just come to Sun and Ski Sports to see all of the fun, adventurous things to do. Well, let's take a quick look around the store if you want to show me around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful. We are here at Sun and Ski Sports in the women's apparel section, but you have so many options. Let's talk about it.
We do. We have a ton of options in women's. We have activewear, we have swimwear, we have casual. Right now we're right in front of Yori, which is my personal favorite section. Kind of a good mix of activewear, casual, and loungewear. And then we also have some activewear from On and Patagonia, a lot of options. These options also kind of carry over into our men's department and our kids section as well. Really kind of just a all-encompassing department of anything you need.
That's incredible. So you have it for both women, men, and kids.
Yes, that's correct.
So everything that you would ever want to enjoy your summer.
The whole family can come in and get their gear.
Awesome. Well, let's go check out another department.
Let's go.
Now we are standing here in the middle of the footwear department at Sun and Ski Sports. Kendall, what do you offer here?
We have a wide variety of footwear here. We have anywhere from sandals to running shoes, trail running shoes, hiking shoes. We also have winter boots when the time comes for that. We have brands like Hoka and On, and then for sandals we have Chacos and Tevas and Birkenstocks, which is an amazing brand. Super popular, also really great like casual shoes. And then what else do we have? We have Vans, just a lot of variety. We have shoes for kids, women and men, so kind of just everyone and anyone can come in and get some footwear. We also have an Atrix machine, which is a really fantastic machine that we have. It'll do a custom scan of your foot and kind of just like tell you which insole you would need to make a shoe your perfect fit. So out of all of the footwear that we carry, you can put this insole in there and it'll make that shoe 10 times better because it's more for you.
So when you walk in here, there is some guidance to not be overwhelmed by the absolutely incredible amount of inventory that you guys have here.
Absolutely. We have so many sales associates that are so excited and ready to help you and find what the perfect gear is for you.
Awesome. Well, Kendall, let's go check out some of the other fun departments you have here at Sun and Ski Sports. We are standing here in the back of this store. You can find the wonderful world of water. So Kendall, tell me about it.
Yeah, we have a lot of great water sport gear. We have life jackets. We have obviously our wakeboards right here, which are amazing. We carry Liquid Force and Hyperlight, are our two big water brands. We also have some stand-up paddle boards, which are so fun during the summer. And then kind of right around the corner from us, we also have our winter hard goods, which we have a lot of great deals going on right now for our off-season stuff.
Awesome. Well, let's go check out the next department.
Let's go.
I'll follow you.
So this is going to be our bike department. We have both of our shops over here, as well as all of our bikes and our bike apparel.
Wonderful. So if you are ready to get those wheels rolling and you have a need for speed, this is the place to be.
Absolutely. We have so many brands for biking. We have Cannondale, we have Rocky Mountains, Super 73, a lot of variety. We also have kids bikes, and we do bike rentals, which is really awesome.
And if you need repairs on your bike, you can also come here, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a full service shop. We have some mechanics that are so fantastic and so excited to get to work.
Wonderful. Well, let's go check out the next section because there is so much more to this store.
Let's go.
Kendall, you have so much to offer here at Sun and Ski Sports in Murray. So tell me a little bit more about the rest of the store.
We have a lot of things to help you kind of get going on your adventure. So we have backpacks, we have sunglasses, sunscreen, any last minute items you need, drinkware. We definitely have it here for you.
Wonderful. Now, if you are heading up into the mountains and you seem to forget something, you can always swing by the Park City Sun and Ski Sports location.
Yeah, absolutely. They have any last minute items that you could need on an adventure.
Thank you, Kendall. You're wonderful. And remember, if you have any summer adventures planned, head on down to Sun and Ski Sports at 6262 South State Street across from Fashion Place Mall. And remember, stay adventurous, Utah, at Sun and Ski Sports.
This weather report is brought to you by Sun and Ski Sports, your new mountain sports headquarters.
Welcome back to Wasatch Weekends. We are now joined by Sophie Kohler of Park City Gardens, here to talk about the plein air painting, celebration is not quite the right word, but event that they've got coming up. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you.
So tell us a little bit about this. It's plein air, right? Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yes, you are. It's a plein air event, which means that you're painting outside. So this is our 5th year doing it in partnership with Gallery Mar, and we host it at Park City Gardens. And what happens is interested painters of all types of media, watercolor, oil, acrylic, etc., will come. They'll bring their own supplies, and they'll bring their easels, and they can set up anywhere they fancy on our 10 acres at Park City Gardens, inside, outside, traditional kind of location, maybe looking at a flower, the stream, or a building. We have lots of historic buildings on site, or you could be inside the greenhouse, etc. And they pick a spot and they paint for a few hours until we actually have judging of all the paintings. And there is a prize for first and second place. And Gallery Mar has some trained gallerists do the judging of the paintings. And we have live music. We've got some little refreshments. So it's really just a nice afternoon to wander around Park City Gardens, enjoy the beauty of summer here in Park City, and visit with the artists. All the artists tend to like to kind of share what they're doing, and they are used to painting in front of people, which is cool to watch. So it's just a great experience.
So how did you guys go about selecting the artists for the event?
So the artists tend to self-select, and it is oftentimes people that enjoy doing plein air events look for these events and sign up for them. So the artists often reach out. They go via Gallery Mar and sign up with them just so everyone's accounted for, and we have all their details. And for example, someone wants to find that artist later to buy one of their works, and then they just arrive on location on Saturday. It is something we've been doing for 5 years now, so people kind of know about it. We always do it this time of summer in June. So I guess people look out for it. It's on a few calendars like Chamber of Commerce and painting calendars, or artist calendars, etc.
Does the same artist typically show up to the event, or do you guys tend to have a different cast? And how do you limit the selection through a jury or anything like that?
There's a single judge, not so much a jury. And then did you say, did the artists just show up? Sorry, I missed that part.
For the artist selection, do you guys have a limited number of artists that are available? And if more than the limited number apply, do you have a selection system that way?
Right. So no, there are going to be some experienced artists and painters, and then there can be some novice people too. So for example, we have some new entries post 2020. That's the 1 year that we didn't do it. And people kind of tapped into some more creative hobbies, started painting, for example. So yes, not everyone is a professional, but we definitely have professional artists taking part.
Sounds like it's a great opportunity for amateurs who are just trying to start to break into that professional world and get their name out too. Is a great opportunity for them to get a little bit of exposure.
Definitely get some exposure, get their feet wet, paint live. I mean, sounds intimidating to me.
Is there anything for kids to participate in during the event?
Yeah, good question. So historically, over the last 4 plein air paintouts that we've held, we have a lot of kids who love to grab some paints, and they're just inspired to sit down and paint in the garden as well. And so we've always let that happen, but they haven't been able to officially compete because that's not really fair to have a 4-year-old's modern piece up against someone who might have spent 3 hours layering paints, for example. But this time we're going to have a separate kids entry and competition. So the kids didn't need to sign up in advance. So it can be an in the moment thing. And they do need to bring their own supplies. We might have some extras to share, but they should bring their own. And then they can definitely enter to compete, and there will be a kids prize too.
Awesome. Sounds like a great way to bring the kids in and get them kind of fired up about it too, and bring some parents in as well. So speaking of that, it takes place a little bit earlier in the afternoon, right? Around 3 to 5, so that people can continue on with their, awesome, 3 to 6, even better. So that way people can continue on with dinner plans, if there's a live music show, something like that, right?
Yeah, I think it is a busy weekend in town. I know Savor the Summit's going on. So definitely we didn't want to compete with some of these great evening events. So it is in the afternoon, and then you can carry on with the rest of your night.
And tell us a little bit about the live music and food that'll be available as well.
Yeah, so Savory Kitchen is just doing some small bites. So I wouldn't make it your dinner, but it's definitely going to tide you over for dinner, little appetizers. And then Nicole Paradiso, she's a guitarist and vocalist. Actually, she plays many instruments, but for us, she'll be playing guitar and singing. She's done it for us for several events, including this plein air event over the years. And she just has a beautiful voice, and it's mellow, and it just fits in perfectly with the vibe. So she will be set up once again playing her lovely music.
So it sounds to me like it's going to be a fairly spread out event with people all over the 10-acre property. Is there any system, any method, or any favorite locations you think people should check out?
Yeah, no, that's part of the fun is tracking down the artists. So I know we have 20 artists participating this year for the main competition, and then we always get a few extras who didn't sign up, but they want to participate as well, and usually we let them. And they could be anywhere from in plain sight to hiding somewhere back and deep in our wild meadow or up in our trees. So it is part of the fun to walk around and try to find all the artists and see what everyone's chosen for their vantage point.
Well, and if people are there and they're inspired to buy one of the pieces, is that something that's available? Can people take art home with them?
Yes, yes. I actually, you can't see them right now in this fuzzy background, but my office is decorated with plein air paintings from past years, because of course it was an afterthought. But there's so many beautiful paintings of Park City Gardens or flowers or things that people were inspired by here. And yes, you can buy the piece. You can get in touch with them to do a different piece for you if you like their style and want to see their body of work. It's just a great opportunity, especially we were talking about some of those up and coming new artists to get some exposure. But people can come away with a wet painting, or they can just get in touch with an artist later about getting something from them.
Fantastic. And you guys have been in business for quite a while. So after this plein air event, you have one more thing coming up this summer, correct?
Yeah, we always have workshops and classes and things like that. But this is our 40th birthday as a business. So Park City Nursery was established in 1983. And we want to celebrate. That's a big deal to be one of the oldest, longest running businesses in Park City. So on August 26th, it's also a Saturday, we are going to have a garden party for our beloved customers and community. And we'll have music, and we'll be potting up some fun apple baskets with fall beautiful flowers, and we just hope everyone will come and enjoy kind of the end of summer goodness at the Park City Gardens. Yeah, so more on that to come, but thanks for mentioning it.
Well, fantastic. Sophie Kohler, owner of Park City Gardens, thank you so much for joining us. And one more time before I let you go, what time and where can we check out the plein air painting event?
Yeah, so this Saturday, the 24th, between 3 and 6 p.m., you can come by any time. You don't need to come in the beginning or stay till the end. Really, it's fun just to drop in and kind of see what everyone's working on and get a feel for it. You'll park up at the community church above Park City Gardens and walk through the nursery to see all of the awesome artists and hear some music. We're located at 4459 Highway 224, so super convenient no matter where you're coming from.
Perfect. And you can check it out at parkcitygardens.com, correct?
You got it. Yeah.
Awesome. Sophie Kohler, thank you so much for joining us. And we will be right back with a little bit more after this break. Welcome back to Wasatch Weekends. Tracy Miller of Colorful Cooking has got a fantastic tortilla soup recipe to show us that's going to be great for any guests you might have at your home coming up. So let's check in with Tracy in the kitchen right now.
It's getting hot in the kitchen again, or it will really soon. Hi there, I'm Tracy Miller with Colorful Cooking, and this is the cooking show where we're gonna let you know how to cook healthy and how to make it easy. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so what I'm doing now today is thinking about all those busy parents or all those busy worker bees that get home late at night and want a healthy dinner, but you want it to be prepped before you get home. So today we're doing soup and salad. I'm gonna do a chicken tortilla soup and a cauliflower salad with a lemon tahini dressing. So that's going to be a really exciting salad, and you can of course make it early and then assemble it right when you're ready to go and put the dressing on it right when you're ready to eat it. And the soup, you can either keep it on your stove, it's kind of a quick soup, or you can put it in your crock pot and let it cook slow all day long. So let's first start off with the soup. Today our chicken tortilla soup is going to have chicken breast, which are cut into small pieces. I'm going to get my pan nice and warm with a little bit of olive oil on the bottom. Now I like to use olive oil because it's the healthiest oil out there, and of course the more and more that you can eat the healthy oils and cook with the healthy oils, the healthier you're going to be. So this is very heart healthy. And I like to stick with olive oil too as my oil in general because I don't really want 18 different oils on my counter and me have to decide every time. Coconut oil would be another great option because it can withstand a high heat. So we're just going to get this pan heated up, because when we put our chicken breast that's already chopped up in the pan, we want to hear that sizzle. When you're building a soup, when you're building the base of a soup, you want to have those little brown bits. You know, sometimes when you walk away from your oven and you're like, oh no, I burnt it. Don't think that when you're making soup, because what you're going to do is those little burnt pieces are actually going to give you nice flavor. Those are like the base of your flavor. So whether you're cooking a meat or a chicken soup, if you just let it sit there for a few minutes and get those brown pieces and then stir it around, that's going to be a nice base of flavor for your soup. A lot of times when I'm teaching cooking classes, I have to tell people that they're over stirrers. They just sit there and stir everything way too much, and you want to get those pieces on the bottom so that you have a lot of flavor. Okay, so when you're starting off a soup, typically in French soups you have something called a mirepoix, and that is onion, carrot, and celery. But today we're making kind of a southwestern Mexican style soup, and we are going to have our mirepoix is going to be onions, garlic, green pepper, and jalapeno pepper, because we're gonna get a little bit of that flair going on in there. So I'm gonna start chopping up the onions. As my pan is starting to heat up, I can actually feel the heat, so I think we're gonna get a sizzle pretty soon. We're gonna do about a cup of onion. And then now this is going to be delicious for you, but also really healthy, because the onions are filled with antioxidants, and they're going to fight everything during cold and flu season. So the more onions, if you like onions a lot, add a few more, cook them down. They're going to taste delicious. They won't have that super raw feeling, but if you do want to put them on after, you know, as your little topping, then that would be nice as well. Okay, so my pan is warm. I have already made my spice mix, and whenever I'm making soups, I make my spice mix to start things off. So this spice mix is filled with salt and pepper, cumin, a little coriander, and some chili pepper, because I am going with the Mexican theme. So here we go. We're gonna really stir that around so we get nice coverage with our soup. With our chicken, we want it well seasoned, and hopefully you can hear that sizzle. This is gonna give us a lot of flavor. I'm gonna spread the chicken around in my pan, because you always want to spread everything around on your pan so that it all gets even coverage on the base of where it's cooking. I'm gonna put a little more of my spices so they're nice and covered. This is gonna be the base flavor of our soup, so we really wanna kind of over season it just a little bit. All right, while that gets seared up, I have cauliflower actually starting to roast in the oven. Now, cauliflower might be intimidating a little bit because it's this big old head wrapped in cellophane. All I do is take my knife and cut right through the middle. That opens it up, and then you can kind of pick off the florets from that. So that's what I've done already. I have cut up the cauliflower into small little pieces. I have it roasting in the oven at 400 degrees with olive oil and salt and pepper. And now what happens with the cauliflower is the smaller that you cook it, the smaller you cut it, the quicker it's going to cook. Now I kind of kept it at a decent size because it will shrink a little while you're cooking it. We're going to cook it at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. Another thing that I'm going to do for our cauliflower salad is it's going to have roasted chickpeas on it. We actually have a lot of beans in the recipes today, so if you are going to have to be a late night diner, you're going to be happy because we have low fat protein for you. So your dreams won't be too weird, like if you're eating a steak sandwich at 10 o'clock at night, go to bed and you have all these crazy dreams and you're like, what's going on? Well, I ate steak after 9. So on the chickpeas, which of course are low in fat, high in protein, and delicious when you roast them up, I have a mixture of oregano and salt and pepper. Parsley is delicious with chickpeas, but we are going to add fresh parsley to this salad. Really cover these chickpeas too. Do not be shy in your seasoning ever. As you take a look at the chickpeas, you'll see they have tons of seasoning on them. As you take a look at the chicken that's cooking up, you'll see that it has tons of seasoning on it as well. So this is kind of nice because it's one pan for the salad. This is going to be our cauliflower salad that will have roasted cauliflower, roasted chickpeas. We're also going to add some parsley to it and some lettuce, some baby lettuce. So let's pop that back in the oven and get it going at 400. Both of those take about 20 minutes to roast up. I'm gonna stir this chicken now because I've let it sit long enough that it's gonna be kind of charred up and a little stuck to the bottom, and that's what we want. So we'll get that chicken stirred up. It's definitely not cooked all the way yet, and I wanna sear it a little bit more because I kind of want every side to have a little sear. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna crank this up a little bit. I'm gonna keep an eye on it. Remember before when I was talking about being an overstirrer? This is a point in time where you can sort of be an overstirrer, but you really wanna make sure you get that sizzle and that crust on one side. So we're gonna let this cook up. I'm gonna get my green pepper chopped up. We're gonna take a quick break, and when we return, adding more to this super simple chicken tortilla soup.
This weather report is brought to you by Sun and Ski Sports, your new mountain sports headquarters.
Welcome back. Now, one of my favorite things to talk about is Nuzzles & Company and their adorable pet of the week. I have Josh joining us today with the most snuggly little puppy. Josh, tell us about who you have with you today.
I've got Delta, just like the airline. He comes from the Ute Ouray Reservation, and he's got his little breakfast interrupted, so he's getting some snacks right now. He's probably 7 weeks old. We don't know what mom and dad look like. Sometimes we get mom with a litter of puppies, and in this case, we didn't. We have 5 puppies from this litter, and each one looks so incredibly different. So in some you see like a lab, and some you see a little bit of Rottweiler, and some you see, I don't even know, like I saw a beagle face on one of them. So it's a guessing game and a cornucopia of colors with this cute little group of pups.
Absolutely. He's got the cutest markings with those little white dashes on his forehead and his snout. So tell us a little bit more about how we can visit him and his siblings.
So these guys will make their first trek to the adoption center today, and they'll be at our adoption center at the Kimball Junction outlet malls from 12 to 5 most days until they get adopted. This little guy's probably going to go pretty fast. He's very charismatic. Out of the group, he was the one who was just like running up and happy to see everybody. And we've done one event with him. We were with last Saturday, I recall. We talked about the Latino Arts Festival, and we were with Connect there. And these guys were the star of the show.
Oh, he's absolutely adorable. Now, if they are at the adoption center, but tell us a little bit about your activity in the community and where we can find them if people don't want to go to the adoption center.
You can find us every Sunday with cute little pups like him at Park Silly, the Park Silly Market. We're there from 10 to noon. Really, we're there from like 8:30 to noon. It takes us a little bit of time to set up, but then the puppies we have a whole crowd of people from like 9 o'clock until noon every Sunday, and definitely a highlight. And then the other thing we do to raise funds is something called a Snuggle Lounge. Snuggle Lounges is where we get hired to bring a litter of puppies to an event or a hotel, so people can cuddle with puppies, fill up their little puppy battery, and this helps socialize the dogs. We get a donation, so it's sort of a triple win.
Well, I certainly need to attend a cuddle lounge. If not, if you were here in studio, I'd be taking Delta home with me. He is so absolutely adorable. Now, Josh, tell us where we can go for more information. Talk to us about volunteer opportunities.
You can go to our website, nuzzlesandco.org. You can also look at our social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram. We're posting updates of animals. When you go to our webpage, there's a button on the top that says how to get involved. You can be a foster, you can be a volunteer. Both of those have links to an application so we can find out a little bit more about who you are, how you want to get involved, and what your history with animals exactly is. And then we kind of find the best fit for you.
Wonderful. Well, it looks like Delta is hitting that post-snack slump there. So we appreciate you coming on and talking to us about Delta, his siblings, and all the opportunities with Nuzzles Co. to bring your forever family member home. We appreciate you, Josh. Thanks so much for coming on the show, and we'll see you next time.
Sounds great. Thanks for having us.
Take care. Thanks so much.
Welcome back to the show. Tracy Miller has been working on some delicious tortilla soup, so let's check in on her progress right now.
Welcome back to Colorful Cooking. I am Tracy Miller, and today we are making a meal that you can prep early, and if you have to work late or the kids are in sports and you're not eating until later, you're gonna have a healthy, hot, delicious meal ready on the fly. It's chicken tortilla soup and cauliflower salad. The cauliflower and the chickpeas are roasting in the oven right now, and this is chicken breast that I have cut up. Now, we talked a little bit about how we want that chicken to really form a crust before we get going, and it really has. It's got a lot of seasoning on it. It's cooked up nicely, and what I'm gonna do now is pull out the chicken, and I'm going to just let it rest for a minute because we are going to get our aromatics kicking in the pan. What does that mean? It means your garlic and onions, and in this case, what starts off the chicken tortilla soup is garlic, onions, green pepper, and jalapeno pepper. And of course, if you don't like the spice, if you can't take the heat, don't put the jalapeno pepper in there, okay? So I'm just gonna let that chicken just chill out right there for a minute. I have another pan starting to heat up. Okay, this baby's gonna be really hot. See, I cranked it, so it's getting hot, it's steaming. The crusty parts are on the bottom, which is exactly what we want. I'm gonna add a tiny, tiny bit of oil right now, and then I'm gonna put the onions in there, and onions and peppers. What's gonna happen when these onions and peppers start to cook is their natural juices are going to secrete, and they are gonna deglaze the pan. So deglazing the pan is what is essential when you are making soups or sauces or anything like that. You have the nice brown bits that I can't stop talking about right here on the bottom, and then now you're gonna put the veggies in, and you're gonna let those veggies start to pretty much just simmer in the pan, and they're gonna get juicy, and then they're going to help deglaze that pan. So I have one whole green pepper and a half an onion, a huge onion. So it really turns out to be close to equal parts green pepper and onion, little extra green pepper. So we're gonna get that green pepper in there. And of course, if you're somebody that's sensitive to green peppers and you prefer the red pepper, you can do whatever you want. You can put whatever kind of pepper you want in there. The green pepper is actually just gives it a little more of a bite than the red pepper. The red pepper is gonna be a little bit sweeter than the green pepper, so you're going to get kind of a sweeter flavor in there, which could be a counterbalance if you are using a jalapeno. So, you know, think about that if you want. And actually the red pepper has like 3 times the amount of vitamin C that the green pepper does, because the green pepper is kind of the baby and the red pepper is the big sister, because the red pepper is the green pepper but on the vine for a couple months longer. So that makes it more sweet, and it just boosts up that vitamin C huge. Alrighty, so we've got our peppers starting. The pan is not deglazing yet, but you can see that the colors from the parts on the bottom are starting to change the color of the onions and the peppers. So our plan is working, my friends. All right, I'm just gonna put a half a jalapeno in here. Me, I love jalapenos. I absolutely love them. I don't take the seeds out of them, but if you're making this for like lots of people or kids or something, this is called the membrane and those are the seeds, and that's where you're gonna get your spice. So if you don't want spice from your green pepper, get rid of those. Me, I like a little kick. I'm not gonna put too much in there. So we are going to just kind of roughly chop this, and then we're gonna let it cook with the onions and peppers, so the heat from this is gonna be juicy and it's gonna get right around the onions and peppers. So first of all, you're probably thinking this is a very interesting knife that I'm working with today because here at the TV8 kitchen, I usually bring my own knives, but I forgot it today. So I had to look around and I got this old school knife, and I had to say to everybody here in the studio, hey, this is a really great knife because it's sharp. So whenever you're working with knives in your kitchen, the sharper the knife, the safer it's gonna be. That sounds crazy, right? But if you are using a dull knife, then what you're doing is you're pushing through your food. And when you're pushing through your food, it's going to tear your food, and it's also gonna wiggle around a little bit. So you might not get the best coverage, and you're definitely gonna have a little trouble and more likely to cut yourself. Okay, everything's cooking here. It's over a medium-low heat. I have this frying pan over a low heat. I'm gonna crank that up just a little bit. And what we're gonna do now is just make some tortilla strips for the top of our soup when it's done. Everybody loves these because they just kind of add a little bit of crunch. So just slice them thin like this. These are corn tortillas, so this is gonna be a gluten-free soup. And a masa flour can be replaced for the corn tortillas in the soup. But of course, if you want these little tortilla sticks on top, you really have to use the tortilla and fry them up. Super easy to do this, and everybody loves it. It kind of elevates the soup a little bit. So what we're gonna do is put our pan with some olive oil, a decent amount, because you want the tortillas to kind of fry up a little bit. So we'll put those with a decent amount, and then we're gonna put those in there. Give them some space, like I was saying about the chicken. Don't burn yourself or anything. I think my hands are immune to it now, but just give it some space and let those fry up. We're gonna check in the oven right now and see how that cauliflower is doing and see how those chickpeas are doing. If they're starting to get crispy, we're in good shape, but sometimes it takes a little longer. And when you're working with fresh ingredients, you always have to check everything. So here we go. They're looking good. This is what I want to see on that cauliflower, is when you flip it over, you've got those little brown marks again. That's going to be the theme of our show today. I'm going to close this down and let it cook for a few more minutes. We are going to put corn and black beans into our soup once we get it rolling. And I just want you to know, like, whenever you're using cans of beans, rinse them off first because they're filled with sodium to preserve them in the can. But if you actually rinse the beans off, then you're gonna really, really lessen that sodium. I think it's by half or even more. So just rinse your beans off before you put them in. Sometimes you wanna say, okay, but I like that juice, Tracy. Don't like the juice, it's full of sodium, and we can make our own juice right here, which is what we're gonna do now. So my peppers and my onions are cooking up in this soup. You can cook that for a little bit longer if you want to, but we're gonna add 1 can of fire roasted diced tomatoes. And don't be afraid of the canned stuff. Canned tomatoes that are processed, it makes it easier to get the lycopene that's in the tomato that's really, really healthy for you and super duper healthy for men too. So don't be afraid of canned stuff. Don't be afraid of canned tomatoes. Some other things you might be afraid of, but I like canned tomatoes and beans. All right, there we go. We got a little juice going in there now with those canned tomatoes. We're gonna put chicken broth in as well. And then I'm gonna put the chicken in. We're gonna bring it to a boil, and then we're gonna put the corn and the black beans in there and just let it simmer. And that's the point where you can let it simmer for the rest of the day if you want. You can switch it to your crock pot if you want, or you can turn it off and just heat it up when you get home later tonight. So right now we have green pepper, onion, garlic, jalapeno, a can of tomatoes, and chicken broth. Now I'm gonna add my chicken breast. I'm gonna crank this up. When it comes to a boil, we're gonna add the black beans and the corn, and then we have our soup ready to simmer. We're gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna clean up a little bit. When we return, we're assembling that cauliflower salad. I'm making a lemon tahini dressing that you are gonna love. And we're gonna get our tortilla strips all ready for dinner time. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Wasatch Weekends. Tracy Miller is just wrapping up that delicious tortilla soup recipe, so let's go take a look at how that finishes and maybe we can get a taste.
It's getting hot in here and we are roasting cauliflower and chickpeas. The chickpeas are tossed in salt and pepper and oregano, and that's going to be for our roasted cauliflower salad. The tahini dressing is something we're about to make as well. Feels good by the oven. Everything is looking good on there. They're all roasted up nicely. The cauliflower has some great color to it, and so do the chickpeas, and they feel like they're a little bit crispy too. Sometimes those chickpeas can take a little while to get crispy, but this is a snack that you'll absolutely love if you're a fan of chickpeas. Okay, we're gonna hold off on this for 1 second and we're gonna get back to the soup. You see that this soup is boiling like crazy right now, and that's what I wanted it to do at this point. What we're gonna do now, and this is what I was talking about with the masa. You can either use masa flour, about 1/8 cup, or you can use corn tortillas, and you just rip them up and put them in the boiling soup. And this is gonna give it that tortilla flavor. And I also have my fried tortillas right here so that we can really kind of have that chicken tortilla flavor that we are naming the soup. So I'm just gonna rip up one of these, actually 2 of these, real small. What's gonna happen is they'll start to disintegrate and then the flavor will come out in the soup. And this is a corn tortilla, so it is gluten-free. So for all your gluten friends, your gluten-free friends, or for you, then this can be a nice soup for you that's gonna be hearty and have a little body to it, because that masa or those corn tortillas are really gonna give it a nice flavor. Okay, so we're gonna let that boil for another probably 2 or 3 minutes or so, just to soften up those tortillas. Meanwhile, I'm gonna dump a 1/2 can of beans in there, depending on how much you like beans, and about 1 cup of corn. This is just a really colorful, beautiful soup, and it's so healthy for you. Low in fat as well, especially using the chicken breast. If you ever want to use chicken thighs in a soup, which sometimes I do as well because they have a little more flavor, it's that brown meat. Look at the color on that. Oh, this is a nice soup. It really looks good. I'm gonna actually add a little more of my seasoning mix, and once again, the seasoning mix is salt and pepper, cumin, coriander, and chili powder. This is what's gonna give it its flavor because, of course, our chicken broth was just a plain chicken broth, so we need to give it flavor with the spices that we put in there. And of course, the more spices and herbs you can get in your life, the healthier you're gonna be. All right, we're gonna let that bad boy boil for just a little bit longer, and we're gonna work on our cauliflower salad. So cauliflower is so delicious, so good for you, and it goes really nicely with parsley. So I'm gonna thickly chop up some fresh Italian parsley. I prefer the Italian parsley. It has bigger leaves and it has a big flavor. And so I have some mixed greens here. These are baby greens, so when you're buying baby greens, just be careful because they go bad really, really fast because they're little babies, you know, and they're very perishable. So when you're looking at the container, buy one that you know is the size that you're gonna eat, and make sure there's no water in the container when you buy it, because that water is really gonna destroy those. So I have some sliced apples, and I use apples or cranberries for this salad. I have the mixed greens, and then I have the beautiful parsley that we're gonna put right on top there. Okay, so now we're going to get some of our cauliflower. If you haven't eaten cauliflower roasted like this, it's delicious. It actually kind of tastes like popcorn. It gets those burnt pieces, and it's so good. It's really a fun, delicious way to get your veggies in. Okay, so we're gonna top that with some cauliflower. And then our chickpeas are nice and crispy. And again, this is another good snack. I mean, if you're working in an office and you need that little 3 o'clock pick-me-up, chickpeas and cauliflower, really? I mean, you might not want to open the container of cauliflower at work because it's definitely stinky, but it tastes really good and very good for you. Okay, so there we go. We've got crispy chickpeas that are coated in salt and pepper and oregano. We have cauliflower. You can use cranberries or apples, mixed greens, and parsley. That's the salad, but the best part of this salad is actually the salad dressing. So let's get to making the salad dressing, and I'm gonna make it in this bowl right here. And it's pretty easy, and it's extremely delicious. So what we do with this is, this is my cheater. So if you don't want to cheat, don't get like a lemon pepper marinade, but this is what I like to do just to kind of loosen up the tahini. You can also do fresh lemon, but this is just kind of a quick way to make a delicious sauce. So I'm going to take about 2 tablespoons of the lemon. So this is lemon and olive oil. So if you're doing it all fresh, lemon and olive oil is enough. And then we are going to get the tahini. Now this is such a great ingredient. It's sesame paste. It gives you a really unique flavor and it goes so well with cauliflower. So we're going to do about equal parts. So another 2 tablespoons of that. I'm going to get some salt and pepper on here. And my tahini is pretty liquefied right now. Sometimes that's not the case, but it is. And so I'm just going to stir this up. If you would like it less thick, add a little bit of water. No big deal. You can just add a little tiny bit of water to that, or a little shot of maple syrup if you need some sweetness to it. So that's going to be our salad dressing that goes with our salad. You can prep the salad all the way to this point, and then when you get home and you're ready for dinner, then you can put the sauce right on top of it. So now we are going to get a bowl for our soup. Let me see. I'm just going to move a few things around here for a second. Get rid of these hot pans as you take a look at that salad. And I'm going to go get a bowl. This had a little chicken in it before. It had the cooked chicken, and actually I had meant to make the salad dressing in this bowl because this is the kind of bowl that you would typically eat a chowder out of, and that deep bowl over there is what you would eat more of a soup like this for. So I'm totally messing up the bowls here, but I don't think anybody really cares too much about that. I'm going to turn the soup down. We have this just delicious soup, and you can see that the tortillas have kind of melted in there. Look how many veggies and colors there are. This is colorful cooking right here, folks. This is what I like to see. A hot soup, lots of nice broth, lots of colors, lots of vitamins and minerals in there. And now let's wreck it all by putting some fried tortilla strips on top. But this is going to give it great flavor. It's delicious. I have a little cilantro as well to brighten it up, and then a little avocado. And there you go. There is your chicken tortilla soup and your delicious cauliflower salad with a tahini dressing. So I hope you enjoy this. I hope this gives you a couple good ideas on how you can make a dinner and be prepared if you're coming home late at night. I'm Tracy Miller, and this is Colorful Cooking.
This weather report is brought to you by Sun & Ski Sports, your new mountain sports headquarters.
Thank you so much for joining us today on Wasatch Weekends. Tomorrow, we will talk to Terry Sifford, a local author, and we'll check in with another fantastic way to make dinner on a budget. I can't wait to see you then.